Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Success is not some magical thing that just happens to a lucky few. Success is something you attract, something you pull towards you like a magnet. And the truth is, it all starts with your habits. If you want success in your life, you have to adopt the habits that create it. Today, I'm going to talk about 7 habits that can change the trajectory of your life. First, habit number 1 is discipline. You've got to show up day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. Success doesn't come to people who wait for motivation. It comes to those who consistently do the work. No excuses. You got to commit, and you got to stay on track. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about consistency and discipline. I cannot stress this enough. Success does not happen overnight. It doesn't just knock on your door while you're sitting around hoping for it to show up. No, success comes to the people who are willing to do the work every single day. Even when they don't feel like it, I've seen it over and over again. People who talk about their dreams are many, but people who wake up every day and put in the effort, day in and day out, are few. And guess what? Those few are the ones who eventually achieve greatness. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's not about never making a mistake. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about showing up when everyone else is sleeping in. It's about showing up when you're frustrated, when you feel like giving up. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. You might have talent, you might have intelligence, but if you are not consistent, it doesn't matter. Talent will fade, ideas will be forgotten, but consistent action compounds over time. I'm talking about doing the work even when no one is watching, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Every step you take builds momentum. Every small action adds up, and before you know it, you've created something unstoppable. Discipline is the engine behind consistency. Now, discipline is a funny word because a lot of people hear it and think it's all about restriction, like some punishment. But let me tell you, discipline is freedom. Discipline is what allows you to take control of your life. Discipline is what keeps you moving toward your goals, even when your mind is telling you to quit. It's easy to start, but stay in the course. That's where discipline comes in. If you can't master your own mind, if you can't stick to a plan, you will be tossed around by circumstances, by other people's opinions, by fear and doubt. But discipline gives you power over your own destiny. I want you to think about it like this. Every successful person you admire, every person you see who seems to have it all together, they didn't get there by luck. They got there because they developed the habit of showing up. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest by taking a day off every time he felt tired. Oprah Winfrey didn't build her empire by waiting for opportunities to fall into her lap. Steve Harvey didn't go from sleeping in his car to hosting national television overnight. No, it was discipline and consistency that carried each of them forward. They understood that you can't control the world, but you can control your actions. And when your actions are consistent, success has no choice but to follow. Consistency and discipline also teach patience. You see, the world today wants everything fast. People want quick results, instant fame, overnight success. But life doesn't work that way. Success is earned slowly, brick by brick. Consistency builds that foundation. Discipline keeps you focused while others get distracted. Every day you do the right thing, every day you stick to your plan, you are investing in yourself. You are building trust in your abilities. You are shaping a future that aligns with your dreams. And let me be real with you. Discipline and consistency are not glamorous. No one will clap for you at 5 a.m. While you're grinding alone, no one will cheer when you say no to temptation, when you push through fatigue, when you choose work over comfort. But those moments, those choices, are exactly what create results. That's how winners are made. That's how you attract success, not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by being consistent and disciplined in the moment you are in right now. So if you want to attract success, start with these habits. Show up every day, put in the work even when it's hard, and make consistency your lifestyle and let discipline be your guide. Over time, what may seem small and insignificant will turn into a legacy. And when you look back, you realize it was those simple, consistent actions that changed your life forever. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about learning, because this is one habit that separates the people who succeed from the people who just get by. You see, life is constantly changing. Opportunities, challenges, industries, the way we do business, even the way we think about success. Everything is evolving. And if you're not learning every day, if you're not growing your mind, you're going to get left behind. Knowledge is power, but it's not just about knowing facts. It's about understanding, applying, and adapting that knowledge to your life. The people who attract success never stop learning. They read, they listen, they observe, and they take notes from life itself. I'm going to be honest with you. Learning doesn't just happen in school. School is great, don't get me wrong, but learning never ends when the bell rings. Some of the most successful people, didn't graduate at the top of their class. They didn't wait for someone to hand them knowledge. They took it upon themselves to seek it, to absorb it, to become better every single day. Every book you read, every seminar you attend, every conversation you have with someone wiser than you, these are investments in your brain, and your brain is the most powerful tool you have. And here's the truth. The more you learn, the more opportunities notice you. People are drawn to those who know what they're talking about. People want to work with people who have value, who can offer insight to the table. I want you to picture this. Imagine a person who thinks they already know enough. They stop learning, stop growing, stop expanding. What happens? Doors, quests, ideas dry up, and eventually the world passes them by. Now, imagine the person who's hungry for knowledge, who's curious, who asks questions and seeks answers. That person becomes unstoppable because every day they are adding something new to their arsenal. Every day they are becoming more capable, more resourceful, more attractive to success. Knowledge compounds just like money. The more you acquire, the more opportunities it generates. And unlike money, knowledge can't be taken from you. It's yours forever if you use it. Learning also builds confidence. When you know more, when you understand more, when you can solve problems that others struggle with, confidence naturally follows. And confidence, my friends, is magnetic. People are drawn to it. Doors open when you walk in a room with knowledge because people trust those who have insight. They want to be around them, learn from them, and work with them. And let me tell you, opportunities do not knock on the doors of people who lack confidence and clarity. Opportunities follow people who are constantly learning, growing, and improving themselves. The world is full of mentors, books, podcasts, online courses, experiences, and stories. If you truly want success, you have to grab them and never let go. But learning is not just about accumulating information. It's about taking action on what you learn. You can read 100 books, but if you don't apply that knowledge, you're not moving forward. True learning changes the way you think, the way you act, and the way you respond to challenges. It makes you sharper, faster, and more prepared for the life you want to create. Let me be real with you. Learning can be uncomfortable. It can challenge your old beliefs, your habits, and your way of thinking. But that's exactly why it works. Success doesn't come to people who are comfortable. It comes to people who are willing to stretch, to grow, to push beyond what they already know. Every time you learn something new, you're expanding your potential. Every time you invest in your mind, you're building a foundation for the future you've been dreaming of. So if you want to attract success, make learning a non-negotiable habit. Seek knowledge relentlessly. Absorb and apply it and share it, because the more you know, the more doors open, the more confidence you gain, and the more the world starts to take notice. Those who never stop learning never stop succeeding, and that's exactly how winners are made. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about the people you surround yourself with, because this is one of the most powerful habits for attracting success. You see, you can be the smartest person in the world, you can have the best ideas, and you can work harder than anyone else. But if the people around you are dragging you down, it doesn't matter, you can't rise higher than the people you spend the most time with. That's a fact. You've got to be careful who you let into your circle, because the wrong people will steal your vision, slow your progress, and distract you from your purpose. Now, I know it's easy to say, I can handle it. I don't care what anyone thinks, but I'm telling you, the people around you influence you more than you realize. Negativity is contagious. Laziness spreads. Excuses become acceptable when you're surrounded by people who settle for less. On the other hand, being around motivated, ambitious, and positive people will lift you up, push you to be better, and hold you accountable when you start slacking. You have to understand that your environment shapes your reality. You can't plant seeds in a field full of weeds and expect flowers to grow. If you want success, you've got to surround yourself with people who are planting the same seeds you are. Think about the people in your life. Who inspires you? Who challenges you to think bigger? Who encourages you to take risks and push past your comfort zone? Those are the people you need. Cut ties with anyone who constantly doubts your dreams, criticizes your efforts, or drains your energy. I'm not saying everyone has to like you, and I'm not saying you should be rude or disrespectful. But I am saying you've got to protect your vision, protect your energy, protect the people you allow in your inner circle. I remember when I was starting out, I had some friends who didn't believe in my dreams. They would laugh at me, tell me I was crazy, or try to talk me out of opportunities. And I'll be honest, it hurt at first. But I realized that if I wanted to succeed, I couldn't let their doubts become my doubts. I had to find people who would lift me up, who would encourage me, and who would push me to be better. And once I did, doors opened. Opportunities came my way. My confidence grew. And I started to attract even more people who had the same drive, the same vision, and the same hunger for success. Surrounding yourself with the right people also teaches you things you can't learn alone. Mentors, advisors, friends who are ahead of you in life, people who have experience. These individuals can guide you, warn you of pitfalls, and share insights that could take you years to learn on your own. They challenge you to grow, and growth is uncomfortable. But it's exactly that discomfort that leads to success. You've got to be willing to sit with people who push you, who question you, who hold you accountable. And let me remind you, this isn't just about networking or making connections. This is about building a circle of people who genuinely inspire you and help you evolve. It's about sharing your dreams with people who cheer for you, not those who gossip about you or compare you to someone else. Energy is powerful, and it transfers. When you're surrounded by ambition, positivity, and vision, you can't help but be lifted. You become better simply by association. So if you want to attract success, take a long, honest look at the people in your life. Are they lifting you up or holding you back? Are they adding value to your journey, or are they draining your energy? Choose your circle wisely, because your success is influenced by the company you keep. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who push you to be your best, and watch how success begins to find you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about goals, because this is one habit that can completely change your life if you take it seriously. You see, a lot of people go through life just floating, moving from one day to the next without a real plan. They hope things will work out. They wish for success, but they never actually define what success looks like for them. And that's a mistake, because if you don't know where you're going, how in the world do you expect to get there? Goals are like a map. They give your life direction. Without them, you're just wandering, and wandering doesn't lead to success. It leads to frustration, regret, and wasted potential. Setting clear goals is not just about writing down a list of things you want. It's about clarity. You have to be very specific about what you want, why you want it, and when you want it. Saying, I want to be rich someday is not enough. How rich? By when and for what purpose? The clearer your goals are, the easier it is to take action. The more vague they are, the easier it is to get distracted, to procrastinate, to give up when things get tough. Success favors clarity. You need to know exactly what you're aiming for so that every decision, every action, every choice you make is aligned with your target. I want you to understand something. Goals are not just about achieving things. They're about creating focus. When you have clear goals, your mind becomes like a magnet. It starts to notice opportunities, resources, and people that can help you get there. Things that would normally pass you by suddenly become visible because your brain is wired to recognize what matters. But if you haven't defined your goals, if you haven't written them down, your mind is scattered and opportunities slip right through your fingers. And let me tell you, writing your goals down is critical. There's something about taking your thoughts out of your head and putting them on paper that makes them real. It's like sending a message to the universe, saying, I'm serious about this, I am committed. And when you review your goals regularly, when you visualize them every day, something magical happens. You start to align your actions with your intentions. You start to make choices that bring you closer to your dreams rather than farther away. That's the power of clarity, the power of well-defined goals. But here's the thing most people don't talk about. They think setting goals is enough. It's not. You've got to take consistent action. Goals without action are like a car without gas. You can have the most detailed roadmap, the most ambitious plan, but if you don't move, you won't get anywhere. That's why it's so important to break your goals into small, manageable steps. Focus on what you can do today, tomorrow, and next week that moves you closer to the big picture. Celebrate those small wins because they create momentum, and momentum is what carries you to the finish line. I've seen it so many times. People dream big, but they never set clear goals. They hope things will just happen. And when life throws challenges at them, they get discouraged. But people who set clear goals, they don't give up, they just strategize. They keep moving, and eventually they achieve what they set out to do. Goals give you purpose, direction, and the motivation to keep going when others quit. So if you want to attract success, don't just dream. Define your goals. Be specific. Write them down. Visualize them. And break them into steps. Take action every single day and watch as your life starts to change. Because clarity in your goals leads to focus. Focus leads to action, and action leads to success. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about life. It is unpredictable. Life doesn't follow a script, and it certainly doesn't care about your plans. Things happen that you never saw coming. Doors close, opportunities vanish, people disappoint you, and circumstances change in the blink of an eye. Now, here's the truth. The people who attract success are not the ones who never face problems. They're the ones who are adaptable, who are resilient, and who refuse to quit no matter how hard life pushes back. You can have all the talent in the world. You can be smart. You can be disciplined, but if you can't bounce back from setbacks, if you can't adjust when things don't go your way, success will slip right past you. Resilience is the ability to get back up when life knocks you down. It's the grit to keep moving when the weight of failure is pressing on you. It's the courage to try again after rejection. And let me be real with you. Failure is going to happen. Rejection is going to happen. Pain is going to happen. That's life. But the difference between winners and everyone else is how they respond. Winners don't stay down. Winners don't complain for weeks or months. Winners dust themselves off, learn from what went wrong, and step back into the fight with even more determination. You've got to develop that mindset because life isn't always fair, and success certainly isn't guaranteed. But if you are resilient, you give yourself a chance to thrive no matter what comes your way. Now, adaptability is just as important. Life is changing faster than ever, and the world will not wait for you to catch up. If you want to succeed, you must be flexible. You have to be willing to change your approach, learn new skills, adjust your strategies, and embrace new opportunities, even if they scare you. Sticking stubbornly to one path, one method, or one way of thinking may feel safe, but it will limit you. The most successful people I know are the ones who see change not as a threat, but as an opportunity. They pivot when needed, they innovate, and they keep moving forward. No matter how the game shifts, I've seen it in my own life. There were times when doors I thought would open never did. I faced setbacks that could have crushed me. And if I hadn't been willing to adapt, if I hadn't been resilient, I wouldn't be here today. But instead of giving up, I adjusted my strategies, I learned from my mistakes, and I kept pressing. And eventually, the wins came. That's what happens when you combine resilience with adaptability. You keep moving, even when the path is unclear, and eventually, you reach your destination. Here's another truth: being resilient doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means acknowledging your struggles, feeling the pain, learning from it, and then taking action anyway. It means understanding that setbacks are temporary, but giving up is permanent. Every successful person has faced moments of doubt, fear, and failure. The difference is they didn't let those moments define them. They used them as fuel to grow stronger, smarter, and more determined. Adaptability also teaches you to embrace learning from mistakes. When something doesn't work out, it's not the end. It's a lesson. It's an opportunity to recalibrate, to find a better approach, and to move forward wiser than before. That mindset, seeing challenges as opportunities and failure as a teacher, is what separates people who attract success from those who simply drift through life hoping for the best. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to attract success, understand this life will knock you down. Challenges will come. Doors will close. Plans will fail. But if you are resilient, if you adapt, if you refuse to let setbacks stop you, you will survive and eventually thrive. The world rewards those who can endure, those who can pivot, and those who keep moving forward with determination and faith. That's the habit of winners. That's how you attract success, no matter what life throws at you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about giving and believing, because these are two habits that can completely transform your life and attract success like nothing else. You see, the people who reach great heights in life don't just think about themselves. They don't wake up every morning asking, "What can I get today?" No. They ask, "What can I give? How can I add value? How can I make a difference?" Success has a funny way of finding those who serve others, who help without expecting anything in return. When you give more than you take, the universe notices. Opportunities start to appear. People start to trust you, and doors begin to open that you never even imagined. Giving doesn't have to mean money or material things. Sometimes giving is your time, your energy, your knowledge, your encouragement, or your support. When you lift others, you elevate yourself. When you help someone reach their potential, you are building a network of people who will root for you, who will support you, and who will come back around when you need them. The irony is, the more selfless you are, the more success seems to chase you. That's because success loves people who create value, not people who take it. Think about it. People want to work with those who make them better, who inspire them, and who help them achieve their goals. That's the kind of energy that attracts abundance. Now, here's the part that most people miss. Giving alone is not enough. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you are worthy of success, that you are capable of achieving your dreams, and that the world needs what you have to offer. If you don't believe in yourself, giving becomes exhausting, and you start doubting whether your efforts matter. Self-belief is the fuel that keeps your engine running. It's the confidence that allows you to take risks, to stand up when others sit down, and to keep moving forward when obstacles appear. You've got to trust that your actions, combined with your heart, will lead to results. I want to tell you something real. There were times in my life when I felt like giving up. There were moments when doors slammed in my face, when I questioned if I was good enough, and when I wondered if my dreams were just too big. But I kept giving, and I kept believing. I kept showing up, helping others, learning, and trusting that my path was valid. And over time, the blessings I never saw coming started showing up. People started noticing. Opportunities came, and success followed. That's the power of combining giving with belief. It's not just action. It's intentional action fueled by faith in yourself. Believing in yourself also means ignoring the naysayers. People will doubt you, criticize you, and try to bring you down. That's inevitable. But you cannot let their doubts become your doubts. Your belief must be stronger than their criticism. When you pair self-belief with giving, something extraordinary happens. You become magnetic. People are drawn to your energy, to your purpose, to your vision. You start to attract mentors, partners, friends, and opportunities that accelerate your success. And every time you give, every time you act with integrity and confidence, you reinforce your own self-belief. It's a cycle that builds momentum, and momentum is what drives lasting success. Here's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Success is not about hoarding. It's not about what you can take. It's about what you can contribute and how much you believe in your own potential to make a difference. When you give more than you take and couple it with unwavering self-belief, you create a life that attracts abundance, opportunity, and fulfillment. People, doors, and resources begin to align with you because they recognize that you are a person of value, a person of faith, and a person committed to something bigger than yourself. So if you want to attract success, start giving. Give your time, your knowledge, your encouragement, and your energy. Serve others without expecting anything back. And at the same time, never, ever stop believing in yourself. Trust your abilities, trust your purpose, and trust that your hard work and generosity will bring results. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how winners are made, and that is how success finds its way to you.